Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us on this late Sunday night. And firstly, I just want to give a big apology to anyone who's watching live right now, because we were supposed to start about 10 minutes ago. But I was telling the guys backstage that I just gotten out less than 30 minutes ago of seeing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness for a second time. Our show run a little bit late and stuff, so that's why we're a little bit late this evening. But yeah, first I just want to take a moment to thank everyone who's tuning live or after the fact. Thanks for tuning into the stream. And yeah, let me introduce my guests. So first up, we've got a man who, if your tendency is for cinematic experiences, that's the channel to go to, and that is Cinematic Tendency. So hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me. This is good stuff. I'm excited.
Yeah, of course, man. I've been trying to collaborate with you for a while in terms of like a live stream, and I found like tonight was like the perfect opportunity. So yeah, man, excited to have you onto the channel for the first time in terms of a live stream. Next up, we've got a guy who is a hero, and he definitely specializes in media. And we've got Darnell from Rejected Heroes Media. So Darnell, welcome back to the channel on the live stream. How you doing, man? I think
did I get frozen again?
Yeah, you just gave everyone a very handsome self-portrait there.
Oh, wow.
So I think Darnell's good. We'll come back to Darnell. I think we'll find out what's going on. And last but certainly not least, we've got Tyler from the rendered universe or the animated universe. We're not too sure what rendered image he is from, but anyway, it's Tyler Babb. Man, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Happy Mother's Day out there to all the mothers.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, happy Mother's Day too, as I said, to all the mothers out there. And the crazy thing is, in the UK, we celebrated about 2 months ago. So when you guys are telling us it's Mother's Day today, I was like, what do you mean? It was 2 months ago.
That's great. Well, and how fitting with this movie. Releasing Mother's Day weekend here. Yeah. Very, very fitting.
I'll tell you what, if anybody from Mexico is watching, Mother's Day is going to be Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
It's always on the 10th. Always.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So you never forget.
Nah. Well, true.
Something new.
Yeah.
And just to start everything off, my friend Adam's in here just saying, hey, Mike, and hey, everyone, what did you think of Doctor Strange? Well, of course, he said he really enjoyed it, but we're about to get into that. So, firstly, Adam, thank you for stopping in and checking in. Yeah, for anyone who's watching right now, this is a spoiler discussion. So if you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, get the hell out of here and come back once you've seen the movie, and then come back. Oh, bye, Cinematic. So I tell you what, let's just start things off. So Tyler, we're going to go to you first, man. What I want to know from you is, what was your cinema experience like when you saw this movie? Were crowds going like crazy or anything like that?
So I was sitting next to some younger guys. They looked probably 16, 17 years old. Mm-hmm. And they were they were excited, they were excited with what was going on screen, but they were talking an awful lot back and forth. That was kind of annoying. Don't really like when people talk in movies.
Same.
It's just like, we're here to watch the movie. You don't need to talk to the entire thing. And then there were some things, like I've said this in my review on my channel, I'm a big Sam Raimi fan. So basically anytime anything Sam Raimi happened, I kind of got really excited. People not so much. But and then once I left the theater, I could tell it didn't have the same effect. Even the cameos and everything, the cheers were kind of not as exciting as like Endgame or No Way Home. Like, there just wasn't that level in my theater specifically. So
right. Yeah, that's interesting, man. And I completely agree with you in terms of like people talking when you're in the movie, because like tonight's experience for me, my first experience was basically just like kind of just a normal crowd. Everyone was quiet and respectful, so that was all good. But then tonight, the guy who was like sat like to the left of me, like every couple of times he would be checking his phone and then putting his phone away, and I'm just like turn your phone off when you're in the cinema. I don't get why people do that. If you're bored,
rude.
Eat the movie,
It's really right. I don't like that.
Yeah, neither do I.
I don't understand.
No, neither do I. And very quickly, we've got in the front row to saying, just rocked up, friends. Glad I can watch live. So, yeah, hey, Jamie Lee. Hope you're doing good. And, thank you for tuning in live as well. We've got a lot to discuss. So I tell you what, Darnell, we'll throw it over to you because you've seen this movie 5 times now. And in those 5 times, has your experiences changed a lot to like the first time you saw it, or?
It was
Oh,
all
he's
right.
there.
Am I still frozen?
You keep freezing, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But we were able to hear you though.
I have to work some.
Yeah. Well, Darnell, I was going to say, we'll move to cinematic. I don't know if you want to maybe like leave the stream and then come back in.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch cameras real quick.
Okay, cool. So we'll hear from Darnell in a second, and you got to love technical difficulty. So
That happens, yeah.
So cinematic, we'll move to you. So what was your experience like of seeing Doctor Strange?
Yeah. It wasn't bad. I went to watch it like at 7 o'clock. I think the earliest show was at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
But obviously, I never can go that early because I was at work. I don't get out of work until like 6.
Right.
So I went to the one at 7, and it was fairly crowded. I think that theater, it holds about 130 people or so. So I think, if I remember correctly, like the first 2 rows were empty, and then after that, for the most part, it was crowded. So it was, it had a pretty good amount of people. I really enjoy when people get like, not like talking or anything, obviously, but when they get excited and they like cheer and clap, I like that.
Right.
And so there was just a little bit of that. There was a big group of, I think they were girls, because they sounded like girls, like behind me, like 2 or 3
right
behind me. There were a group of maybe 5 or 6, and they were excited when John Krasinski shows up.
Right.
They were clapping. They were excited about that. And another moment, I forgot what other moment, but it wasn't too bad. Like, I really like it when they go like nuts. I mean, not like the whole time, but
right,
when they get excited for other nice moments. So I wouldn't complain. I mean, it was a decent amount of emotions and excitement, and nobody was sitting next to me, which I'm surprised. I mean, I would have brought somebody with me, but that's nice too, because I was sitting in the handicap row.
Okay.
So okay. I was like, there was like the hallway right here, and then was my seat, another seat, and then like 2 empty spaces for wheelchairs, and then more spaces over there. But it was kind of fairly empty, that row. So it was nice. I mean, I don't care if there's a stranger next to me or not, but if nobody was there, it was even better. I just reclined and enjoyed the show. So
right,
good experience. And yeah, I'm happy that nobody was talking or anything. It happened one time though, before the opening night of the Winter Soldier, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I had 2 guys in front of me talking to the point that I was about to say something. I mean, I wasn't gonna something nice. I was gonna tell them to be quiet because I wanted to watch the movie, but it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary because they did it by themselves.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
So that was like probably the first 3-4 minutes of the movie, and I was like, you guys need to. I was thinking I'm gonna say something, but no. Anyway.
Right.
Any other MCU movies? Good experience. Nothing like that.
Yeah, I think it's cool that we've all had like a different experience with this movie, and like for most part, I think like everyone was quite respectful. And I think that's definitely like a different discussion for another day. Probably get you guys back on another stream to talk about cinema etiquette, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that could be a cool discussion. But yeah, I'm glad that overall we've had a good experience. One thing I want to quickly ask is to Adam and Jamie Lee, who's currently watching right now, or anyone else who's watching, what's your cinema experience been like seeing this movie as well? Because I'm intrigued to see if anyone's had like a bad experience with this. But yeah, I'll tell you what we'll do. I mean, I know Darnell's waiting to kind of join back in, but we'll just get started. And we'll just start with the opening of this movie. So we open this out with Defender Strange and America Chavez, who we don't know from any movies previous to this. This is the first time we're seeing this character. And yeah, they're fighting off this big monster. Do you guys know the name of that monster?
No, I do not.
No. Okay, neither do I. So they're fighting off this big monster, and it turns out What's that?
One-eye octopus.
No, not that one. You know the one that's like it looks like
Oh.
kind of like toilet paper wrapped kind of thing.
The toilet paper monster.
That's the best way I can describe it. Honestly,
That's
it
a
looks
great
like
way to, yeah.
CG toilet paper. But honestly, the fighting of this monster, they then it turns out Doctor Strange is just dreaming, and then the next scene obviously goes into the wedding, and we find out Christine's getting married. What would you say? Well, I'll tell you what, Cinematic, we'll start with you. What was kind of your thoughts on Rachel McAdams' character of Christine in this movie?
I didn't mind.
Hey, Donnell.
Hey, I should have no problems now.
Right, awesome. So yeah, I've just asked Cinematic what his thoughts is of Rachel McAdams as Christine in the movie. So Cinematic, take it ahead.
I think she was good performance-wise. I kind of forgot about her. If it wasn't because I rewatched Doctor Strange like early that day on Thursday morning,
Right.
Because I forgot about her character for some reason, you know.
Right.
And then watching it, so I'm glad I did, because I wasn't sure if she was gonna be in the movie for that much. She was actually quite a good amount of time of screen time.
Right.
And I like her performance, and something that I still don't know, but it caught my eye. I was like, "Did you notice she has a mole over here?"
Yeah.
She had it all the time. Always.
She had it in both variants. Yeah.
I didn't notice it. I never noticed, and then in the movie, I was like, kind of like looking at it. I'm like, is that thing new? I didn't know. I was thinking about
it distracted you a little bit.
No, it did.
Yeah.
For some reason. And I was remembering Austin Powers Gold Member with the mole scene. I don't know if you guys remember that. But
yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I'm right there with you. I did notice the mole, and I had the same thought of, is that new or not new? I'm with you.
Yeah.
It stuck out to me too.
Right. Yeah, I didn't. I just don't remember it. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, Darnell, what about you? Do you have anything else to add about Rachel McAdams' character of Christine? I mean, you've seen this movie 5 times now.
I'm glad that they gave her more to do, and I'm kind of glad at the end of the movie they did not kiss when he was like, "I love you in every universe." He's just kind of like, "Yeah, thanks for that." So I'm glad there wasn't no forced kiss or nothing.
Right.
Good observation. Right. I missed that. Yeah, that's true. No kisses.
Nah, it just tells her that he loves her, and that's it, kind of, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Tyler, what about you, man? Because I think we've established that in the first movie, her character is pretty much useless.
Yeah.
And she has like the minimalist of screen time. And to be honest, Cinematic, you're right. I think unless you've seen a Doctor Strange recently, which I've seen this maybe about a month ago because my partner's been catched up on the MCU and stuff. I think she was a very forgettable character. And my personal opinion, before we hear about Tyler's, is I still think after this movie, it's great seeing her, but I still think she's kind of just forgettable. Tyler, what about you?
Yes, I kind of agree that she didn't really get pushed too much forward. Wanda's a different story, right? Like I really kind of like what they did with her. And I guess I was expecting something different because it's a Sam Raimi movie. And I don't know I guess we live in a completely different time now, but I was like, oh, maybe they're going to do the Doctor Strange is going to have to save her, because they kind of set it up at the end where not evil Doctor Strange. I don't know what Doctor Strange that is at the end. That's controlling the Darkhold. I don't know the official name for him.
We're going to go evil Doctor Strange.
Right. Evil Doctor Strange. And, that battle that they have is really cool. I really enjoy that. But it would have been nice to have her in the center of that and it be her life on the line. I think it would have. Right. I mentioned this in my review, but if there were a little bit more emotional stakes in that climax, I think it would have helped and would have allowed her to kind of be in the thick of it a little bit more. But
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think we all kind of have like similar opinions as well. We all think like she, it's good that she got more screen time in this for sure. And I guess at the end of it, it kind of wraps up her story, because now in this multiverse or this normal universe, she's just married now, and that's kind of her story.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I still kind of think they've got this big actress of Rachel McAdams, who is an awesome actress, and they've just wasted it. to what, just be a normal character now who's married and she's probably not going to come into future installments unless she gets some kind of superhero power. I don't know. I'm a bit torn on that one.
Yeah.
And
I think
so we'll move on. So we had the Rachel McAdams Wednesday, but then we get straight into this. Is it Gigantus? Is it that like one-eye Suicide Squad
thing? Yeah,
monster kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that fight scene for me. I mean, you could tell there was some CGI used for sure. But I think overall it was an awesome scene, and I think that's kind of when we start getting like Danny Elfman's score like really kick in.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tyler, what was your thoughts on that scene?
Sam Raimi knows how to direct action. Okay, let's just put it out there, man. Like he's like whenever, if you look at like comic book movies in general, if you think about action scenes, I more than likely go to those Spider-Man movies because that was, the first time that you saw swinging and Doc Ock's tentacles, and like, so he knows how to direct tentacles. So, and it just seemed I love Sam Raimi, and it's his veteran ability pushed to like 15, 20 because he's so experienced, not only in comic book movies, but directing action that, yeah, I mean, and I've seen Doctor Strange do his hand stuff in the past, and like, that's entertaining to look at, but seeing Doctor Strange fight in this, it was just so much more entertaining this go around rather than like the first one, or even in No Way Home.
Right. Yeah, and I think one thing that kind of like really stood out to me, and I don't know if you guys noticed as well, but that scene with the one-eyed creature when he's climbing the building, it was very similar to Doc Ock and Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, where Doc Ock's like climbing up the building, like. And then when Doctor Strange gets swung by a tentacle into like a coffee shop kind of thing, I was like, this is just Spider-Man 2,
yes,
like rewritten, but it was cool. I was all for it. Donnell, what about you? Do you have any thoughts to add to that?
It's fun. For the first thing I say up top is one, nothing phases New Yorkers. There was that moment that octopus them climbing the building, everyone's got their phones all just like, wow, that's cool. Just like, it's just another day in New York. It's like nothing. I understand. This is a world where half the universe got snapped away. I'm just like, not even no one's just like, run for your lives. Giant one-eyed octopus. Now people got their camera phones out, are just like, okay. I loved when Doctor Strange just nonchalantly just took his last sip and then just jumped off of the rooftop by pulling the cloak out of his handkerchief pocket. That was dope. And one thing I don't think no one said, so I'll say it, and now you're gonna think about it, be like, oh, that's true. The octopus thing did have a lot of personality, and you could see it through the expressions it was making through its eyeball.
I'll definitely have to look at that on a rewatch. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't think about that, but I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a good one. I didn't even think about that. I just thought it was an octopus just trying to cause chaos, but it had feeling, so you should have maybe respected that. Cinematic, what about you, man? Did you have anything else to add to that?
Well, now that we're talking about that octopus with that one eye, as you guys were talking about it, is that supposed to be like a particular character? Because as we were talking, I just thought about that video game, Marvel versus Capcom. There is a character there that is purple, and he looks just like he's like an octopus with one eye. Is that the same character or no?
That might be.
I don't know the name of it. I don't know the name of that guy, but I just remember I never picked that guy as a character like to play with him. But I just thought about it. And I can't remember the name because it's been quite a while since I played that game. But
okay.
But you guys know what I'm talking about?
A little bit. I have to look that up because Marvel loves to do that though. They'll pull like the most obscure and if you think about it, if you're writing the movie and you're like, all right, we need a monster, it's like, all right, let's go to the game and let's pull it. Marvel loves to do that stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's.
Yeah, and I just thought about it just like right now, like not even when I was watching the movie, like that thought never crossed my mind. But I do remember he has a name, but I just maybe somebody can look it up. I can look it up later.
Well, I was going to ask you guys because the next scene is something that you guys might be able to answer. But in the next scene, after they beat the octopus, obviously Doctor Strange, Wong, and America Chavez goes to like a coffee shop. They're having a chat, and Doctor Strange does reference Spider-Man. So, do you guys happen to know by any chance like how long this is set after Spider-Man: No Way Home?
I have no clue.
Okay, you know what? I would say since Spider-Man No Way Home ended like around Christmas time, I would say this movie probably takes place we'll say like maybe 4 months or so, like in the springtime of spring, summertime, probably early spring. That's usually when people get married at and everything, and it doesn't look like there's no snow or nothing. So definitely like maybe just a couple months after No Way Home.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, because I was wondering that because he references Spider-Man and obviously doesn't know who he is under the mask now. But I was thinking, I was like, well, he's referenced Spider-Man, so surely it can't be too long, like after those events. And then in this movie, he references America Chavez as Kid a lot, which he did a lot for Peter Parker's, like Tom Holland. So I kind of like that continuation that she's maybe going to be the new one he refers to as Kid now, because obviously he doesn't know like Tom Holland. But yeah, so that was really cool. And then like the next kind of thing that we get is we get about Comertage, and we get to see that once again. And we kind of get to see like some of the elders that are there, but then also America Chavez, and kind of we find out about Wanda. Doctor Strange goes to see Wanda and finds that Wanda's the one who's been controlling but the octopus as such. So Cinematic, we'll jump to you first this time. So kind of what was your thought on the Comertage scene where he goes to confront Wanda and then she comes to evade Comertage?
This is the thing. I like many of us, like we like to hear like theories before.
Yeah.
And I like to do that, but sometimes I'm like, man, maybe I should stop because some of these theories, come to happen.
Right.
And so I heard this theory that perhaps Wanda was the one behind, scenes. She was she was gonna be like the true villain and stuff like that.
Yes.
Right.
So whenever they're talking, and then Wanda says, "Why don't you?" She says something like, "Why don't you bring America with me here or something like And then I was like, she's like, "Oh, I didn't. You never told me her name, right?" And Doctor Strange is like, "No."
Yeah.
So whenever she said her name, I was like, "Oh, okay." So that theory, I think, is gonna be true.
Right.
So he was.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what was her purpose of just like as soon as she's like, okay, he knows that I'm behind scenes. He knows now that I'm the one who is trying to get America, and then she whatever she does, like that fake place or whatever, forest, ranch, I don't know what it was, but then we actually see like the true place where she was, I guess, like her true colors or intentions.
Yeah.
And then at that point, there was more of a difference. Like, okay, that's more like she's more like a Scarlet Witch. She's not Wanda as much because now she's being controlled by the, what's the name of the book?
The Darkhold.
The Darkhold.
Yeah, the Darkhold. Yeah. So, I mean, but yeah, as soon as she said, why don't you bring America here? And there's like a brief pause, and I was like, oh, okay, because Doctor Strange, he's like,
yeah.
Oh, you didn't say her name, right? He's like, no, I didn't. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that theory was true. So I was surprised and I wasn't at the same time.
Right.
It's one of those things. So, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? I better stop listening but it's fun. It's really fun for me. Like to speculate.
Yeah.
And to hear and read other YouTubers. some of those theories. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the downside is like, oh man, maybe some of this stuff is gonna happen, and there's no element of surprise anymore.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. I battle with that stuff. Like I want to stop, but I don't want to stop.
Yeah, I think it's so easy to kind of like speculate nowadays and be like, oh, this person's going to appear or this is going to happen in this scene, and especially like with the trailer. But
Yeah.
Donna, we'll jump to you. So what was your thoughts on the Battle of Kamar-Taj and when Wanda gets in and then she's trapped in this kind of like glass and she puts this through the water and the reflections? What was your thoughts of that kind of battle?
I thought that it really well, one, that started off. I love when she said, just hand over America peacefully. And Strange is like, and if we don't, and she's just that pause, and then the music just gets real eerie. She's just like, and it won't be Wanda that comes after her. It'll be the Scarlet Witch. Just like, ooh,
Oh, yep.
ooh. like
Yeah.
if this was a Disney Plus show, you know what Disney Plus show, that will be like how you end the episode off. It's just like, it won't be Wanda that comes, it'll be the Scarlet Witch. It just cuts off and makes everybody like, ooh, next episode is going down. But
Right.
I loved when she went to the whole attack on Kamar-Taj. Just shows how powerful Wanda was at that point, and just how vicious. Because she, like, when she landed, that dude that was crawling away, like, she just vaporized him. You were just like, ooh. My whole the whole theater was just like, oh my gosh, just killed that man. So when she went into the mirror dimension and those spikes came out, I love that's when the Sam Raimi horror elements came in. When the door started shutting like that, the way it cut, that was straight out of Evil Dead, and I loved that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And like, especially when I went with my partner tonight, she's an absolute nut for like Evil Dead and Sam Raimi. I mean, I like him, don't get me wrong, but not as much as her. So straight after the movie, she's like, there's so much Evil Dead in here, it's crazy. And I was like, yeah, well, I've seen the first one and then the remake. So I was like, yeah, from what I remember, but not as much as her. So Tyler, we're going to go to you. So after this Battle of Kamar-Taj, we kind of get this first hint of the Wanda and Scarlet Witch and her true power, and we finally get like a connection as such into WandaVision into the movie. I want to know your thoughts on this. So what was your thoughts on the part where America Chavez opens up the portal, the multiverse, and then her and Strange go through about 20 different multiverses? What was your thoughts on that moment?
I think this was the first moment in the film where, like, because it's speculation, right? You hear all sorts of stuff. And this was kind of the first moment where I like moved to the edge of my seat, where I was like, okay, like now we're gonna get into it. Like now this is where these rumored cameos and everything, Tom Cruise, Iron Man, so on and so forth. My eyes were locked, and I was like, all right, I gotta pay attention to everything that's happening right now. And it was to go to tendencies thing of like getting spoiler, speculation. It was kind of nice because I was like, oh, here we go. And then it didn't really give me that. And I was like, okay, cool. Like it kind of subverted my expectations, and I was down for it. I was like, all right, cool. Having the Wanda fight at Kamar-Taj and that whole multiverse sequence has got to be some of the best visual effects and just sequencing in general in any Marvel film I've ever seen. I mean, it's incredible. Like,
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a nerd for like transitions and like editing is what I do professionally. So I'm geeking out the whole time. All that's happening. I'm like, I can't get enough of that. It was incredible.
Dude, I've got to agree. So, like, one thing that I love is if, for example, we take it back for a second to Spider-Man: Far From Home, the second installment in the Spider-Man trilogy. For anyone who's unaware, there's a part where Mysterio traps Spider-Man in kind of like his own dimensions, or I can't remember what the term was that he used, but like that scene as well, like in Spider-Man, how that was edited, and when Spider-Man's like battling someone, or then he's battling like an imaginary Mysterio, or he's battling himself, and like that kind of editing for me is so trippy, but it's something you don't see often. And when it's done that well in Spider-Man, and then in Doctor Strange, when they're going through like the water, they're like the faces are coming apart and like square, like in that shot in the trailer, and then they go through like the liquid form as well, and then very quickly into the cartoon form. I was like, it gives us a glimpse of like how many multiverses there is. And I think that is kind of like a big eye opener. Like maybe not so much for this movie, and like, all right, this movie's going to go in 20 multiverses, but for in the future, we could go into the cartoon realm. They could go into the underwater realm. You know, whatever the case should be. So so the next scene that we've got after this is, of course, they go through the portal. We've then got, of course, they go to this futuristic world. But I notice in this futuristic world, all the scenes, the colors are bright, but everyone's dressed in grey or blacks. No one's dressed in color in that scene, apart from Doctor Strange and Chavez's kind of jacket. But even then, she's kind of like a bluey grey, so she kind of blends in with them. And then, of course, they go to the Sanctum Sanctorum and they realize Doctor Strange isn't alive, and we get Mordor. It comes back.
Yep.
So, Cinematic, what was your thoughts on seeing kind of Mordor again? Because for me, for the first movie, it was kind of forgettable. So, do you think they kind of made him better in this movie?
I saw Baron Mordor in the advance poster, so I knew he was gonna be in it.
Yeah,
with the long hair and everything. And then in the trailer, even though I tried not to watch a lot of trailers, like I watched some of them, but not like the newest, because I wanted to be a little surprised.
Sure.
But I knew he was gonna be in it. Now, when I saw him, I was like, and he's like my brother or something like that. Right? He's very friendly, and I was like, okay, he's a good guy. Okay, so I didn't see that twist about drinking the tea, and then pass out because there was something in the tea. So I really thought he was a good guy. But actually, but after like thinking about it, I don't think he was evil like the one in our reality, right? He was just trying to bring Strange to the Illuminati. But
I don't know.
Do you guys think he was actually evil, or he was just doing what he thought was right?
I don't think he was evil. I just feel like it's one of those, like, if you're the same, I'll say cautious, because like I already saw what one Doctor Strange can do, and I feel like they're all the same in every universe. So we just gotta. It's nothing personal, but we gotta take these precautions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a kind of a bit of grey, because I mean we're going to get into the Nazi scene very, very shortly. But yeah, like, so obviously with that, so I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the only time I've seen where the teapot smashes, I think that was in the original trailer when after like Spider-Man No Way Home like post-credit scenes.
Oh,
because the trailers after that I don't think showed the tea again. I think it might have just been that. I don't know if you guys saw it again.
I did not see it. No.
I missed it. I also missed that. I didn't see that change of colors between like black and whites and colors, Mike, that you mentioned. I missed it. I'm gonna have to pay attention on the second round.
Yeah, definitely. And well, very quickly, Scott Jamie saying about Mordor that she thinks he was doing what he thought was right in the first one. Also, he thought there was too many sorcerers, which, yeah, and then they like Doctor Strange was just for himself in the first one, really, and until he kind of had a turn around. But yeah, next time you see it cinematic, definitely have a look. Or Tyler, or if you guys go again, in that scene when they go to the futuristic world and it's all colourful, everyone's dressed in black and grey.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only colours like there's traffic stoplights when they go on red kind of thing as well. That's what I noticed.
Yeah.
In the first movie, he said, I mean, our Baron Mordor, he said there are too many sorcerers, right? He said that at the very end on the post credit when he steals that power from the guy who was a cripple, right? At the very end, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Part?
Yeah.
So I guess he had the same approach or philosophy or whatever that he wanted intentions, right? Like he didn't want to have so many sorcerers for some reason.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. And it kind of plays into that in this one as well, into the futuristic scene, I guess, as such.
Mm-hmm.
But while this is all going on, of course, we've then got Wanda who control of Wong, and she like Wong copy of the Darkhold, and they then go to that. I don't know what was that place called where Wong takes her. Is it Wanda?
That one's kind of hard to pronounce. War to something. War to.
I don't know.
Oh, are you talking that place where she had that throne?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It was war to some. Damn, I can't remember the last part.
I can't remember what it's
right.
called.
Well, the movie kicks. You know what I'm saying? The movie goes by so fast. It's
right.
You know, there's a lot of information thrown at you in that time frame.
Right. Because there's at times it's like there's too much going on. I was like, it's flicking too like forward and back like quite often.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so we get Wanda. She takes Wong there. She kind of finds out that obviously she knocks Wong off the cliff. She's kind of like getting ready to take over this throne. But then the scene that I think we all want to talk about is the Illuminati scene. So of course, Doctor Strange gets escorted. He meets future Christine and America Chavez, and he gets taken to the Illuminati. And I will start with Rejected Heroes Media. So Don, I will start with you this time. Did you guess everyone who you thought was going to be in the Illuminati or not?
Absolutely not, because I didn't watch no trailers for the movie at all, besides the very first one that came out with Spider-Man. I didn't watch nothing. Now, only through like the grapevine, I was like, oh, the Illuminati's going to be in the movie or something from a thumbnail. I was like, okay. But I knew Charles Xavier was going to be in it, but I loved the curveball that it wasn't Charles Xavier from the Fox universe. So I was blown away. I was in my seat, just like, okay, Illuminati and shit. And when that shield got thrown and stepped out, it was Captain Peggy Carter. I was like, oh shit, okay, this is our what if connection. And I was just like, so that's where I feel like that's where she went at the end of her episode.
Yeah.
And then we saw who was next, Black Bolt. I was like, oh my god, like Black Bolt, oh my god, Black Bolt, shit, Inhumans. And then Monica Rambeau, and I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, no. My first time watching it, immediate response was, oh, so that's not Tom Cruise. Okay, it's not Tom Cruise. All right, all the rumors are put away. But the thing that made me like fangirl the fuck out was he just always kept like smartest man alive, Reed Richards, and it was John Krasinski, and I was just like, oh my god, because I wanted John to be Reed Richards. It's one of those things. It's like, have you ever watched a movie and it's like there's something I just want about? If this thing happens in the movie, I'm gonna be satisfied. I'll be perfectly happy.
That one thing,
Yeah.
That was it for me. I was like, this movie's already like it's already up there. So he looked amazing. Even the suit looked good. I was like, I haven't been this excited for anything Fantastic Four in like 10 years. So that was great.
Yeah, I think like those cameos were awesome, and I think that was like a nice surprise because especially the John Krasinski one has been rumored for like so long, and everyone's been fan at it. People are saying that Emily Blunt's going to be Invisible Woman. Like, there's a lot of theories, of course, going around. I think it makes logical sense because they're married in real life, so it kind of makes sense for her to be it. But we'll have to wait and see. But have any of you guys seen the Inhuman show?
No.
Yes.
Nah, I didn't even know there was like a show.
It's the same actor.
Yeah. So, well, I was going to ask you, Tyler. So, because I've never seen the show, and I don't think we have either. Is Black Bolt like presented like the same matter, or is he like better in this appearance than he was in the entire show? Or
he was handled very poorly in the show. I didn't even get all the way through the show. I watched a couple episodes, and then I was like, "This is not what I want to spend my time watching." This was before the Disney Plus era, of course. This was ABC, I think.
Something like that.
Same people that made S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Same actor, handled very differently, though. This seemed a lot more comic accurate and with a lot more care and attention, obviously, because this is the MCU proper here. So,
right. Yeah. Oh, well, that's cool to know because I know, like, I think that got like cancelled after like one season. So, at least to kind of bring them in somehow, like, and give them a bit justice or at least a bit known.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Cinematic will hand it straight over to you. So what was your thoughts on the cameos?
Yeah, I like the cameos. I was expecting, again, because I heard all these theories. I was expecting a few other people. I'm gonna tell you who. I was expecting, or maybe like I was maybe hoping, or that because somebody said, "Oh, I think Black Panther is gonna be in it," and since it's another universe, most likely it's gonna be Michael B. Jordan as T'Challa instead of Killmonger. And I was, oh, that makes sense. That would be cool. But obviously, well, he wasn't in it. Another one was Namor. There was like a rumor that maybe Namor was going to be in it. And this idea of Namor is because you guys may remember which movie was that? Endgame. Remember Endgame? When at the beginning of Endgame, everybody is talking to Captain America and Black Widow. They're giving reports, and then I think what's her name from Black Panther? She's like the
Shuri? Is it?
No, not Shuri.
Okoye.
Okoye. Yeah, she's like, oh, there is some earthquake underwater or something like that. So that's where the idea of Namor comes out, or whatever it comes from.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe they're going to introduce Namor here too. You know, it would be a good idea. And no, it wasn't. but Reed Richards, that one, yeah, it's been a long time. Do you guys know who is Boss Logic?
Yeah.
Yeah. I follow him on Twitter, and I also got to meet him at New York Comic Con. He's a cool guy. He did some fan art. I don't know, maybe maybe years ago of John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic.
Right.
And since I saw his art, I was like, yeah, I'm down. And yeah, he looks great. Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. I really like him. And like I was telling you at the beginning of our video, those girls behind me when he shows up, and he's the smartest man in the universe or whatever, and he shows up, they were like clapping, they were happy. So I like that. I like that part. I didn't like the way he died though, but
right.
But
well, we're going to get onto that in a second, because I think that's a controversial. It's done it. But time. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, and lastly, Captain Carter. We knew she was going to be in it because her shield wasn't in the advanced poster. In a piece of glass, it was her shield. But I didn't know because we're talking about the multiverse. So I was like, is it gonna be a live action Captain Carter, or is it gonna be the one from What If? You know, like a cartoon working with everybody else. So I didn't know. I was like, maybe it's gonna be the animated version. Who knows? But it wasn't. But it's still cool. Still cool to see her.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And I think it's because this is what we're also going to touch on firstly, but I just want to hear from Tyler. Again, Illuminati scene, do you have anything else to add, man, or anyone else you wish you saw in there?
Everyone that was there, John Krasinski obviously was the one that I was like, oh, because that's been rumored forever. And that was the one that I was like, oh, if that's in that's super cool. But we're probably never going to get that. That's just a fan dream that we're never going to get. And then he shows up and I was like, okay, that's really awesome. The Peggy Carter, I thought she kicked ass. I loved that. I just couldn't help but think, if you don't watch What If you don't watch through this whole movie, if you haven't seen WandaVision, if you don't watch What If, I can't imagine these things happen. And even the Illuminati itself, I can imagine that somebody that's not as into it as we are, you have to be a little lost, right? The average moviegoer has to be like, what's going on? I don't understand why Captain America's girlfriend is all of a sudden like a version of Captain America. Like, I can't imagine. And I'm thinking the kids that were next to me, I'm thinking that's what their conversations were throughout the whole movie, is like, well, what does this mean? And what does this mean? That's why I didn't really bother them too much, because I'm like, well, yeah. And this is like, it's a perfect sequel to WandaVision. But if you haven't seen that, then like Wanda's turn to be a bad guy must be so abrupt if you haven't seen that crucial piece of her story. So, and obviously Charles Xavier, and then he comes in and it's got the 90s X-Men theme playing. They do that callback.
Yeah.
That I love that. That was amazing. But yeah,
it was a cool callback to it. And interesting that you mentioned about WandaVision and What If, because when I went on the first day to see this with my nephew, he hasn't seen WandaVision. He's seen What If and he's seen the main Marvel movies, but he's not seen like Hawkeye and that kind of stuff, but he's not seen it. So when obviously Wanda had the kids, he was like how has she got kids now? So because I was like, well, dude, like WandaVision, you know, like, so I get where you're coming from. I think at the same time is people love the Marvel movies, so to them, you know, they might just think, oh, I can just skip the TV shows. Not saying everyone does, of course, but they might just think, well, I don't want to watch the TV shows. Or for example, like Hawkeye, a lot of people don't like Hawkeye, and I've never been a huge fan of him. So they'll be like, well, I'm not going to watch a series about that guy. I don't like him, you know. But I think ultimately it's going to, you know, all play in, and I think it's going to maybe push people towards Disney Plus, because they're going to be like, oh, well, actually, let me go check out WandaVision again, or let me go watch What If episode where Doctor Strange, his episode, or Inhumans, let me go check out that again, you know. So I think it's got that kind of purpose to it as well. But I get where you're coming from, where they're starting to finally connect all this in and be like, well, look, this is your reward for sticking by us and watching this series. Here's your payoff to that story. So I think that's pretty good. But the scene that we need to talk about is with the Illuminati when they fight Wanda. So my personal opinion on this, and I'm going to go by all these and see what you guys think as well, is it was awesome having these guys in. So it's awesome to finally see a new reiteration of Fantastic Four. I'm very excited to see where they're going to go, because they've announced a movie of it or a TV series, whatever they're going to do. So we know that John Krasinski is probably going to be Mr. Fantastic now, but he's going to be in the normal universe, not in this crazy multiverse wherever they went to. But and you know, it's great seeing Charles Xavier, that he's outside the X-Men version, or whether going forward they're going to have the actual X-Men version in, or they're going to bring the comic book version in. We don't know. But for me, I felt like their appearance in this movie, although it was awesome to see and it's so great getting an introduction into them, all the purpose that they serve was just that Wanda is a badass and she can't be stopped. Besides that, I felt like we didn't need their appearance because they added nothing to this movie. So Tyler, we're going to go with you. What do you think of that?
You definitely have a point. When you look at, if you break the movie down and you go scene by scene and you go, okay, what pushes the plot forward and what absolutely doesn't? They were there to basically show off Wanda's abilities and powers, and to give us fan service, but also to introduce little elements, right? Like when Doctor Strange is talking to Mr. Fantastic, he goes like, oh, weren't you guys like popping in the 60s? And it's like, you catch up on those things. You're like, oh, okay. So is the Fantastic Four movie going to be set in the 60s? Like, and
right.
I guess, so the main universe is 616, which the comic book fans know that's kind of the main Marvel timeline. And this one was what, 838, right? The Illuminati one. So I wonder if the Fantastic Four movie is going to take place in the 838 universe with John Krasinski and his and their family and that. And it's I don't know, it'd be interesting. But also it's Reed Richards, so he could probably go through. He's probably been multiverse hopping for a long time, you know, back in the 60s even. So who knows?
I think that's a good thought to it as well, because I think the main thing that everyone's going to be asking is if Fantastic Four, for example, like Captain Marvel was set before the first Captain America, or maybe just afterwards. I think it was just afterwards because of the war. And obviously got frozen for 70 years. But obviously that explained why she wasn't a part of Infinity War. And she obviously showed up for Endgame when she got the signal from Nick Fury. So I guess people are going to be wondering, well, okay, well, if they're bringing Fantastic Four into this, why were they not in Infinity War? Why were they not in Endgame? Like, where were they when this was all going down? So I think that could be a good shout. They could maybe set that in the 60s
Mhm.
and be like, well, that's actually before Captain Marvel in the 80s, but this is where they've been up to in that meantime.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe they got trapped there. Their whole family got trapped in that 838 universe.
Right.
Who knows?
Right, yeah, that could be a good shout. And Donnell, what about you, man? So these cameos, what did you think of that scene with them v Wanda?
Thinking about what Tyler said, I guess I do agree that it doesn't move the plot forward. Not really. It just showcases how amazing Wanda is. But on my last couple watches, what did occur to me that I think that that scene is one of those situations where it's like may not seem like a big deal now, might like, oh, it was just there for fan service, but I feel that with the death of Charles Xavier and Reed Richards and the leader of the Inhumans in that universe, I think that is going to be the thing that sets up Secret Wars and possibly Avengers versus X-Men, because now it's like you got the X-Men, you still got the X-Men and the mutants and the Inhumans in that A3 universe. That's like, oh, our leader just got murdered by who? By this other Avenger or this character from the 616 universe. So now that's how you're going to get the multiversal war that was brought up in Loki that Kang was talking about. So it's one thing that's like, oh, well, it's throwaway. But no, our leader died in that moment. And anyone's like, well, when did that happen? When did they die? It's like, well, go back to Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's why that happened. So now you're going to have those characters invade the 616 universe. And now I feel like it's one of those things that's like, we set it up. May not make sense now. It's going to pay off in future movies. And then that's how it's all going to reconnect again.
Right. I think that's a cool theory as well about the Secret Wars, because obviously at the end of this movie, which we'll get into, as Doctor Strange now with the Darkhold, he's now off into another universe with Charlize Theron's character. So technically, he was the one who killed, Mr. Fantastic. As such, obviously, him being there, and then he brought Wanda to that universe as such, because he was brought there. They could be like, well, your Avenger killed these people, but he's not here to answer for his crimes. He's gone and done one somewhere in like another universe, I've got a question for cinematic. So I'm going to put this a little bit differently. So do you think in this movie they needed these cameos in the Illuminati scene, or do you think it's because we've seen all these cameos in No Way Home that Marvel maybe think, right, we need some more cameos to kind of tease the audience and build up the fact that we can bring in people,
So what about those cameos? Like if they're important, is that what you?
Yeah. So in Doctor Strange in this movie, so do you think Marvel really needed these cameos, or do you think it's maybe because of fans' expectations after No Way Home, they think, right, we really need cameos in this movie to help sell this prospect? Because as soon as Patrick Stewart was there, everyone was on the internet being like, that's Patrick Stewart. So that's going to create hype to be like, right, well, let's see how Patrick Stewart fits in this movie.
Yeah. I think those cameos were more like fan service. I don't like, at least I see it that way right now. It was more just to get a little bit of a pop for us, for the fans. However, I am guessing that they, and I hope so, they're gonna keep John Krasinski's for the movie, like for the upcoming. At some point, we're gonna have Fantastic Four. So I am guessing they're gonna keep John Krasinski as Reed Richards. Is his wife? What, I don't know. I forgot her name in real life. Emily Blunt, yes. Emily Blunt, yeah. Not Sue Storm. Emily Blunt. I'm gonna guess, or I hope, like, it would be nice if she turns to be the Invisible Woman. About the rest of the characters, like I don't know if Patrick Stewart is gonna remain, as Xavier at some point whenever they introduce the X-Men. But yeah, I think it was just more of a let's just add these cameos, and just to create a little bit more of a hype. I think that's what they did.
Right.
And before, I want to show you guys something. I found it on Twitter today, and I saved the photo. Let me. I don't know if you guys have seen it before.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
I thought that was funny.
Yes, that's great.
Asian Jim.
Yeah, no. That I've never seen that. I didn't want to.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm like, this is funny.
I think they're going to probably keep John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, because if they went back and had Miles Teller as Reed Richards, I think there'll be a lot of chaos,
Yes.
Yeah, they would have been.
I just want to quickly add cinematic comments here. So we've got Anthony Perez in the house. So hey, Anthony, thanks for tuning in. He says, as cool as the Illuminati cameos were, I'm disappointed with the execution as the days have gone by. For sure, it was fun, but wasted in a lot of ways. And he said, also said about the cameos, they should have maybe had a couple of fun cameos when Strange in America jumped through universes. Those should have been more incorporated. But then he made a very good point, and what I was saying about you, Cinematic, if because of No Way Home, they've added these cameos in, is he said, imagine if they treated the No Way Home surprises the same way. Those cameos were integral to the narrative. So imagine if, they had signed Tobey Maguire to this deal. He appears for 2 minutes and gets killed off. There'd be absolute chaos. And if they did the same for Andrew Garfield and killed him off, people would be raging. That movie probably would have tanked, because those would have been leaked immediately, and fans wouldn't have gone to see it, because it'd be like, that's my childhood or that's my teenage years dead within the second like that, So I think we've all kind of like in agreement to such, like the Illuminati was fun, but it was a wasted opportunity, because it feels more like they're gonna bring it in the future. Anthony also says, how the hell did Strange remember what happened with Spider-Man in No Way Home? His spell should have erased his mind of those events too.
Not really.
Everyone forgets Peter Parker, but everyone still knows Spider-Man because Spider-Man still exists. Is that how?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's only it's just no one remembers who Peter Parker was. They still remember the Spider-Man event. Spider-Man, they know they know that he still had a multiversal thing happen and involve Spider-Man. But as far as knowing who he was, that's the only thing that got erased.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking so, because obviously in Morbius, in the post-credit, Michael Keaton's character still knows Spider-Man. He just doesn't know it's Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know. I'm sure it's some way they're going to explain it somehow or another, but
who knows?
See. But yeah, so kind of get into the final of this movie is so after this Illuminati scene, of course, Strange learns about this about walking through the dead body. Oh, I can't remember what the actual terminology was.
Necromancy or dreamwalking.
Dreamwalking, that's the one. It then transported to this other universe where it's just clearly just like all black and decay, and the worlds are coming into each other, and that's when you get the cameo of the famous car in Spider-Man. And Tyler, I'm actually thankful for you for that, because I actually didn't know that first time round.
Dude, I flipped out. I was the only one when that happened. I freaked out, and everyone, I was the only one. I was trying to not scream, but I was like, oh, and people looked at me like I was nuts. But I knew right as soon as it cut, and as soon as that car was in the background, I knew exactly what that was, dude. I was like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, because one thing I've noticed with Sam Raimi movies, and my partner's kind of pointed this out to me, is that he always puts the car in the movies, and he always puts Bruce Campbell.
Yep.
And we're going to touch on Bruce Campbell when we get to the post credits. But yeah, Anthony also just said here, but how would he remember the multiverse event without knowing anything about Peter? Sounds like a plot hole. I guess it's still about just Spider-Man in general, because Spider-Man was still in the events of Civil War. He was still in the events of Endgame and Infinity War. So they all have the knowledge of Spider-Man. That's just my explanation for it, but I don't know if it's just my explanation. It's just that's my conclusion.
Yeah, the only thing that just got erased was no one knows about Peter Parker. No one knows. It's like no one has any memory of him.
Oh,
Right.
It's a good point from the front row. I don't know.
Well, actually, no, because also people who seen Peter's face was also happy. Happy saw Peter. He knew obviously Peter was Spider-Man. MJ, of course, Ned. They knew. So I'm not sure. I'm sure in some explanation or other, maybe in the next Spider-Man movie, they're going to reference, or like he's going to have an interaction with one of those characters again, and he's going to be like, "I'm dying to tell them that I know you, but I can't tell you that I know you." Perez says it's a weak explanation. I know, but I think we're all maybe a bit muddled on that one. I'm not sure. But yeah, so what we'll do, guys, is we'll go into the kind of like the finale of this movie. So, Cinematic, we're going to start with you. So, of course, we've got Wanda finally capturing America Chavez. Doctor Strange goes into his kind of like zombie kind of body from like right at the beginning of the movie. And what was your kind of thoughts of like that final battle scene?
Well, first of all, I didn't know like he was gonna use that body eventually. So I was like, oh, that's why he buried that body. I didn't know it was gonna be useful for the third act. That scene, okay, let me remember. He takes over the body so he can use it because he's in another universe.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the scene. It's also heavily on CGI with those black demons or devils, flying around. I thought it was nice when he was able to use those evil spirits as a cape and as a shield and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Right.
And I think that was very quite like Sam Raimi style a little bit, the way he used those spirits. So I like the scene overall. But yeah, but I didn't see the point. I'm like, okay, he's gonna keep the body, but all right, he's just gonna bury it. But I remember seeing as a Doctor Strange zombie in a poster and also on
definitely.
Yeah, I saw it on T-shirts too.
Right.
I almost bought it, but I didn't buy that T-shirt, but I was close to it. It was that T-shirt with Queen, that Queen from the
album cover.
Yeah, from the album cover. So it has like the four different Strange like that. Well, cool. One is like that, and the other ones. So there were like 4 different Doctor Strange, and one of them is the zombie.
Nice.
So I was this close to buy that shirt. No, but I like the scene. I thought the scene was interesting. I like the way that they incorporate that corpse, and the way that they use those demons flying around. And
right,
okay, I need to get up there. So okay, let's fly.
Right.
So I was thinking of that big cape, like Spawn. Like he had that big cape.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I thought about that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it was like really cool how they execute that CGI and had the flying cape getting over to that point and him taking control of those demons. I think that was really good. So Darnell, what about you? What was your kind of thoughts on how Wanda kind of finished this battle and kind of taking this place out with her? But she's not really dead. We see the red orb, but
yeah, of course we know she's not dead. And
because Perez also says, I like how Sam Raimi killed Wanda similar to how Doc Ock took himself out.
Yeah, the whole "I'm not gonna die a monster" type deal.
Right.
The first thing that comes to mind was when she went to the kids. She's like, "I'm not a monster. I'm not a monster." And I literally watched them just like, "Yeah, she's not a monster." 5 seconds ago, she just literally threw your mother across over the steps like a Hoover vacuum cleaner. But she's totally not a monster. But
right.
It really took Wanda to really well, at this point she's not even Wanda, she's like kind of the Scarlet Witch, and I keep kind of rationalizing in my head like, well, she's controlled by the Darkhold, so she's not in her complete mind, she's corrupted and shit, so it's like I feel like once she realized that, oh man, maybe my kids just can't be, I just really can't have them. And, I really felt the heartbreak. And when regular Wanda, the other Wanda, just put her head just put her hand on her head, was just like, they'll be loved.
Mhm.
They'll be all right. It really just put her like, okay, I'm at peace with it now. And I guess I like that ending, and I like that she kind of gave herself up, because you think about it, it's like no one could stop her. The only one who could stop Wanda was Wanda. So I'm like, I guess that's just how the movie had to end.
Right. Right. Yeah, and I think it's quite interesting, like how you're exactly right. The whole movie, she's evil. There's not one moment where she's good, and then that last 5 seconds, she's like, I'll turn over a new leaf. Yeah, let me just destroy this building, and I'll take myself with it. Tyler, I've got a question for you. So we've talked about kind of like how Wanda ends things here. We talked about how she's probably still alive, and going forward. So Perez has also mentioned a good point here. Wish we'd seen White Vision, because in WandaVision, of course, we see the white version of him, and he flies off, and we don't know what's happened to him. Like, is he going to ultimately be Scarlet Witch's new lover? Is he going to be the new version of Vision, and she's ultimately still with Vision? Like, what? How do you think Wanda's going to go from this?
I was half in that when they're in the house and they're with the kids and everything, and the monster. I'm not a monster. I'm not a monster. I half expected White Vision to show up in that scene. I was like, oh, this is where he's probably going to show up, and then she's going to have her, because the whole movie it was just the kids. There was no there were no dreams of Vision. And so I was like, oh, well, at the end, she's going to get her full family, not just the kids, but kind of like the missing piece to that. The whole movie has been Vision. He's not been there. So the White Vision will come in, kind of fill that hole, and then she'll turn the leaf. It didn't happen that way. Will Vision be the one to save her or resurrect her or something in the future? Who knows? I don't know. Because her and White Vision do have a relationship in the comics, so I think it's coming, but we just have to wait. Who knows where White Vision has been? We don't know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one, because with the white version of Vision, of course, he's built from Ultron to start with, and this is in the current MCU. He's made from Ultron, and that's how Vision exists. But in the other multiverses, does Vision actually exist apart from the planet Earth version?
Right.
And I think when in the other universes, like, she's just with her kids. I don't know how she's had these kids, unless Vision exists then, but he's died in all multiverses. I mean, again, it doesn't really explain. And Jamie saying the only ones who could stop her was her love and long love for the boys. I still think it's a bit weak, but we'll take it. And so we've got near the end of this movie. We've got Doctor Strange. Of course, he gets the Darkhold. His price for that is now he has this third eye. So we're going to see where this is going to go. And we've also got Perez saying, do you all feel like the ending of WandaVision was kind of ignored, with Wanda being remorseful and wanting to be better at the end of the finale? I loved her in this movie, but I wish they eased into something damaging, and they're maybe too long of a comment. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think kind of the ending of WandaVision was kind of ignored?
No, I don't. I think that this was a nice epilogue to that, because now that you bring it up, and I'm thinking about the ending of WandaVision, I feel like she got her closure with Vision, at least, because they had the nice, like, the whole hex collapsed in on Vision, and she was trying to just like, okay, yeah, I'm good. I'm at peace with Vision. As far as the kids go, a moment, the post-credit scene of WandaVision where she was reading through the Darkhold and everything, just scouting the multiverse, and she heard them kids. She was like, okay, Vision's gone, and I'm okay with that. But what? My kids, they're still out there. They're out there in the multiverse. Oh, I got to get on that. So that's why I feel like this is more of an epilogue to WandaVision without fully ignoring the whole message behind it for the finale, at least for me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, cinematic, I was going to ask you, so do you think kind of going forward, kind of like what Darnell was saying, that he feels like this could be an epilogue? Do you think that Wanda's now going to go, because we know that she's still alive with that red orb we see, do you think she's going to maybe go on a hunt to try find the white version of Vision? Because the normal her in this multiverse with the kids says, you're ready to love again. So what do you think is going to happen with her next?
Well, I guess you just told me, because I didn't know. So she didn't die for sure?
Mm-mm.
No.
Well, it looks like she dies, but when the building's like crumbling, you just see like her red magic.
Yeah.
So She probably teleported herself out of there instead of getting crushed.
Oh, okay. That's a good observation. I mean, well, I know that Marvel always brings back the dead, no matter what.
Right.
Unless you're Quicksilver.
Yeah. I actually was I was guessing that maybe we were gonna see Vision in the movie for a little bit. I mean, because
right,
you know, he's the only one who had a strong connection with her, besides those kids that never existed. So I thought we were gonna see Vision, either Vision or the White Vision. Well, mainly the White Vision. I don't know where he is, but I was assuming maybe we were gonna see him.
Right.
So yeah, well, I think we're gonna see him eventually, but I don't know like where or on which story. But definitely, I think they're gonna be again together. I don't know if he's gonna be another. I doubt it's gonna be on the third installment of Doctor Strange, because that will be, who knows, 2-3 more years. I don't know. But probably, yeah. I think because I mean, when you think about it, Wanda is also one of those characters that is popular and beloved, at least in the MCU.
Yeah.
Perhaps not the one in the comics, but definitely the one in the MCU. So it is for sure that they're not gonna kill her. No. It's not good for business.
Well, I think I heard that she signed like a 10-year contract or something like that.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that one. And I know. Unfortunately, there's gonna be no WandaVision season 2. So perhaps by me.
Yeah.
Perhaps in the next installment, but I have no idea. But yeah, definitely, I believe they're gonna be. We're gonna see them together at some point, either for a movie or for a little cameo or something, because they created White Vision for a reason. So so I think we're gonna see him again.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was thinking we were gonna see him in the movie, not like for a long time or whatever, but I was maybe like a little like, Wanda, what are you doing, or stuff where something like that,
right?
On the third act, or even on the post credit, but no.
Nah. Yeah, true, and I think it's going to be interesting to see where she goes, because she said like she signed a 10-year contract. They've clearly got big plans for her character, and in this movie she's phenomenal. She's one of the best aspects about this entire movie, and she gives probably the best performance as Wanda Scarlet Witch that we've ever seen.
Yeah, seems to me that like we see a lot of her in the movie that is not her movie. And I know she's the villain, but it seems like we see more of her character. I don't know. I mean, I've seen it only once, but to me seems like she covers a lot of in the story. She covers a lot of the drama more than actually Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah.
It's not her movie.
Yeah, it kind of felt at times like a Doctor Strange movie, and kind of times like a Wanda movie.
Yeah.
Like 60% Wanda, 40% Doctor, or something like that.
No, I get where you're coming from. I kind of agree. So Tyler, I'm going to go throw it over to you. So we get the end of this movie. We get, of course, Doctor Strange fixes his watch. Kind of, I guess, as a metaphor, being like the multiverse is now back to normal. So I can now, like, the watch maybe a symbolism, being like it's broke, now it's fixed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I might be wrong. But of course, we get the post-credit scene. So we get the first post-credit scene of Doctor Strange. He meets Charlize Theron's character, who I don't think's been given an official name yet, but she's part of the comics. I might be wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No. So I was going to say, I think she's part of the comics, and I don't know if she's related to, is it MODOK, the beast that's in the first Doctor Strange, who he puts in a time loop?
She's the sorceress supreme of the dark dimension, and she's the niece of Dormammu.
Right, Dormammu, that's the one, not MODOK. Dormammu, that's the one who he traps in the time loop in Doctor Strange, the first one.
Right, yeah.
All right, cool. So Tyler, we'll go with you first. So where do you think the future of Doctor Strange is going to go?
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna say I'm not a fan of the third eye.
Oh, her name's Clea.
Clea.
Thanks,
Clea.
Clea.
I'm not a fan of the third eye. I think that CG just looks really strange. No pun intended. I hope that, I mean, if it's going to be on him permanently, that's going to be, I can't imagine that that's going to be a thing that's permanently on his face for the rest of the his time at the MCU. It's just too distracting.
It's gonna be like that more.
Right.
Exactly. Yes. Hey, maybe that was a reference to what happened at the end. It's like, oh, she's got the mole, he's got the eye.
Right.
You never know.
Perfect couple.
I don't know. I mean, like we've mentioned Secret Wars before. I think that's going to definitely happen. The future of Doctor Strange, I don't know because I don't know that much about the character. Usually, like if you've read some of the comics, you kind of know where characters are kind of going to go in the future. But I'm not a huge Doctor Strange reader, so I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one. The only thing that I can go, and I don't know, maybe Donnell and Cinematic maybe know about this or not, even yourself, Tyler. But when Moon Knight finished, I was wondering, okay, well, what kind of universe does Moon Knight fall in? Because it doesn't really connect with any of the MCU. But then I watched Anthony Perez's review, and he mentioned about the Midnight Suns, who I'm not familiar with. But Midnight Suns is kind of like a darker group. And I know Doctor Strange has been part of that, like in the comics, along with like characters like Blade and like Morbius and stuff. So maybe they might put him in like a darker route, and it would make sense if Clea is the sorceress of the Dark World. Have that in with Moon Knight, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure.
I mean, that is where Moon Knight could potentially show up, I guess. Next,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Darnell, what about you? Where would you like to see the future of Doctor Strange go?
That's a hard one because the way it ends, it's just like, we know he's going there. Where could he show up next? And I don't know. That was hard because, Marvel, tomorrow they could just announce like, oh yeah, we got another movie. It's coming out in 2026. And, like, oh, okay. So, again, I guess without sounding redundant, it could be Secret Wars. It's just kind of like, that seems like that's the end game of it all. As far as in his next solo movie, my only thing I can think of is I think that the next villain, the next villain could be the character Nightmare, because the last thing Rachel Adams, what her character says was face your I think she said face your fears or something.
Yeah.
And Charlene, her character, last thing she said, strange is unless you're afraid, and he's like, not in the slightest and everything. So, but right. What I would like to see is a comic accurate Dormammu with the giant body and the flaming skull. I like this, and he's like super massive. So I like to see that. As far as the next Doctor Strange movie goes, he's kind of hard to do like a sequel on exactly, because he can go so many different ways. So it's like he can be in someone else's movie, he could be in his own movie. So that's like, it's not as easy as like doing like we can just do a Iron Man 2, Captain America 2, Thor 3,
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I think that's an interesting point to make, because I think like so far with this movie, it's been killing it at the box office and it's been doing some big numbers. I think it had like the biggest opening day, even I think maybe more than No Way Home.
Oh wow!
So I mean that's just opening day. Of course, like I know a lot of people have had mixed reception. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people think it's okay. A lot of people don't like this movie, and that could all come down to expectations. But I think they've kind of handled him in a good way, because they've had him appear in multiple different movies before giving him a sequel. So you don't forget about this character. He's played a pivotal role in all those movies. So by the time it comes to his own movie, you're like, oh wow, okay. Well, this is due to like 6 movies later, and now his movie has more purpose to it than just him disappeared for 6 years and then, he's Doctor Strange too.
Yeah.
But what about you, Cinematic? Would in the next kind of time we see Doctor Strange, would you like to see him in his own movie, or would you like to see him as like a cameo in another movie or series?
I would like to see him again. I don't know if it's gonna be like that I don't know if that post credit scene. I don't know if that story is gonna pick up in a series or on Doctor Strange 3. But I have no idea like where. Like I think
Yeah.
like everybody was saying, Secret Wars is the next one, but I am not familiar if Doctor Strange is in that war in that because I'm not familiar with the comics, so I don't know. Uh, so yeah, but yeah, I would like to see them again. I didn't know about the character by Charlize Theron. I saw, and I didn't look it up until now that Anthony said it's clear. So, uh, but yeah, I don't know a lot about Doctor Strange, and the little bit that I know about him is because of Marvel Ultimate Alliance video game, and same thing with Mr. Fantastic. I remember I picked those two characters, and I wasn't good at the game with those two. They're cool, but in the game, the powers they have, they were not good.
Right. Well, what I want to know from you guys. So, of course, in this movie, we've got to reference the second post-credit. We haven't touched on this. So, Bruce Campbell, of course, best friends with Sam Raimi, makes it says Peter Papa, the owner of Peter Papa, I'm assuming. So that's his kind of cameo in the A38 multiverse. But I think it would be kind of stupid for Marvel to not bring Sam Raimi back for a future project, especially if they're going in this horror route. Mm-hmm. He's the perfect director for this kind of movie. So if he gets a movie in the current universe, what cameo do you think Bruce Campbell is going to play in that universe? I'm going to just throw it open to anyone.
If it's going to be some sort of horror, right?
No. So in a Marvel movie going forward and just set in the normal universe, what cameo would you maybe like to see Bruce Campbell play?
I would like to see him in on a Blade whenever that one comes out. I don't know when.
Right, that could be good.
It could be on Blade.
As a vampire, or
yeah, in that movie with Mahershala Ali. That one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Do we know who's gonna direct that movie?
I thought they announced a director like a long time ago, or maybe they announced writers. I can't remember.
Oh, okay, no, because I mean that would be no, but by now they already have a director. Because I was thinking if they didn't have a director, I think Sam Raimi would be a good fit. But by now, I think they already have a director, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
They'll announce it soon enough because I know it's in the works. So I guess we'll just have to see.
It's been like 2 years since they announced that movie or something. Year and a half, 2 years.
I think 2.
Should be
a while, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure. But Tyler, what about you? Darnell, what about you? How would you like to see Bruce Campbell's next cameo?
I think Bruce should be. I'm gonna throw it out there. I think Bruce Campbell should be the new Stan Lee cameo, just like a regular civilian in every Marvel movie to come. Just like how he was in every Spider-Man movie. He was the wrestling announcer. No.
He was
the usher. I know he was the usher for the theater at Spider-Man 2. So I think he should just be like just a subtle like just how he was Pizza Papa. Just have Bruce Campbell in every Marvel movie.
Right. Yeah, well, Perez is saying here, like, obviously you played 3 different people in the Spider-Man trilogy. You was like the French waiter or the French owner or whatever in the Spider-Man 3. I could have him in like makeup and prosthetics. Yeah, I think that would be like a cool shout, like, you know, like a new kind of Stan Lee figure, because I think that's kind of what's missing. Everyone like loved those kind of cameos, you know. Or Kevin Feige, for as I saying, being the cameo. He's on board with all the projects, so I mean it makes sense.
That would be fun.
But I tell you what we'll do. We're going to wrap this up in just a moment. But last thing I want to know from you guys before we kind of speak about what you guys have got coming up on your channels is: have you guys got any other positives or negatives you want to highlight about the movie?
I would say I'm just jumping in. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I really like the direction of the movie. Like I think it was fun to watch. I like the CGI, but the only thing, and maybe it's gonna change on round 2 or maybe round 3, since I've seen it only once. But the writing seems like like I said earlier, like seems like a Wanda project kind of, you know, a little bit more like Wanda. So and I know the writers was the guy who wrote Loki. I think.
Yeah, Michael
Yeah.
Waldron. Yeah.
And I don't know if you love Loki series. I thought that series were okay, not my favorite, but I don't know. Maybe like a stronger writer for be I don't know. Like the direction was good. I really like that. I like the horror, PG-13, but it's still creepy.
Right.
I like the direction of the movie. Just to me, the writing was not as strong as the direction.
Right. Well, I know one thing just to kind of add into that before to Tyler and Darnell kind of speak on this is I know so Michael Waldron, the writer, as you mentioned, cinematic, he wrote Loki, but besides that, he's got basically no credits to him like at all. So
wow.
technically, like Loki's kind of like his biggest project he's ever done.
Mhm.
And I know there was differences between him and Scott Derrickson, who did the first Doctor Strange, because he was supposed to do this one, but he left the project due to differences with Michael Waldron. So I know they've had to do like some rewrites. I know they did like a lot of reshoots for Doctor Strange when Sam Raimi stepped on board. So maybe like I don't know about you guys. So Tyler and Darnell, like do you agree about the writing, like that maybe being a bit of a weaker aspect, or do you have any other like positives or negatives?
I think, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just experience, right? Like we all know that. Like the more experience you get, the better you're going to get. So, I think he will get better over time. I've heard that Marvel really likes working with him, so I think he's going to be here to stay for a while. And yeah, hopefully he just gets better as time goes on. I do think the writing was a little, could have been better. Doctor Strange is a character. I like him. I think he works better as a kind of a side character or like a secondary character in other people's films, rather than his own film.
Like Ant-Man.
Yeah. And we've talked about it's like, oh well, it seems like it's more Wanda's movie. It's like, yeah, Wanda really pushes the plot for it's half Wanda's movies, half Doctor Strange movie. But we said it with our responses. It's like, well, where do we want to see Doctor Strange go? And we're all kind of like, I have no idea, because Doctor Strange, I think, is a very hard character to write. I haven't really heard anybody in the production talk about this, but I think he's a hard character to nail down and create this narrative, because he is kind of just a vessel of not. I mean, this sounds bad, but it's like he is introducing the multiverse. We kind of are introduced it through his character, and he's kind of a vehicle. And yeah, it's there's a little bit of a character development that's lacking, I think, just a little bit in his character for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's an interesting one, and I've got to agree with that, because the thing is with Doctor Strange and even Wong, for example, two great characters, but they kind of work as like side characters or like side plot. Like, for example, when we last kind of saw Wong, also before Spider-Man, was Shang-Chi, and he was with Abomination. So like, what's happening with Abomination? Is he just tied up now till She-Hulk series and he gets let loose then, or kind of like what's going to go with that? So yeah, I think I've got to agree. Perez, just very quickly, I want to jump in here. He said we need a Scarlet Witch movie, which could certainly come down the route, but I think she's going to be in like another movie or cameos first before she gets her own movie. But Donnell, what about you? Do you think there's any other like negatives or positives you want to highlight?
I can't. Maybe it was just me. I can't think of no negatives. I've seen the movie so many times, and I'm just like, I haven't had a moment where I was like, I mean, maybe just small nitpicks, but overall, I thought that this was a good. I thought overall it was a good movie. Regardless, another good Marvel movie, another good like consecutive Marvel movie. 'Cause we haven't had that one that's like it sucks. Dominoes are falling now. If anything, it was good. I like my positive was this was Marvel's first attempt at horror in their mainline movies, and I think they did a great job. What I would like to see is, I want to see, it probably never happened, but I want Marvel to go the extra mile and like make a genuine like rated R Marvel mainstream MCU movie. And I think maybe they could do it with Blade. I just want them to like just take more risks. There's a movie we can all agree that it breaks the tradition of like the phase 1, 2, and 3 movies by doing different stuff. It's definitely the most unique of them all. It doesn't feel like Shang-Chi. It doesn't feel like Black Widow. You know,
Right.
I do agree with Tyler that Doctor Strange is kind of like a vehicle to introduce these different new ideas and concepts. That's why he can like just pop up wherever. So
Right.
in the day, I want Marvel to make a rated R movie. Even if it's horror, I'd probably go some more horror like that because that's like the one genre you can really push that R boundary and just be more creative, be more experimental.
Right.
The Infinity Saga is over. Be more experimental. Think out the box. Let's do all type of crazy stuff.
Bring in the X-Men. Let's go.
Right.
Tired of waiting for the X-Men.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised on in general for you guys, like if they do kind of go that extra mile and make that kind of R-rated movie. Well, we don't have rated R here. We have like you have to be like 12, 15, or 18. Like 18's our like most graphic kind of movies. But I think that's going to be coming though because because they've announced Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
They've already announced he's going to be kept as that rating he has in America. That they're not going to be changing that. So I think that's going to be coming. He's going to have to get introduced into some kind of dark path to have that rating. We've seen in Falcon Winter Soldier. We've also seen in this movie they've taken blood. They've had blood on Peggy Carter's shield. They've had blood when that is Russell, that John Russell or whatever he's called in Falcon Winter Soldier. When he captures that person with the shield, he just blood on the steps. So I think they're starting to introduce it and starting to kind of push those boundaries where they're maybe going to make it older so like young kids don't see that blood. I think that's coming for like the older fans, like maybe in the movies to come. But yeah, for anyone who's joined after the fact, so this is going to pretty much be wrapping up our conversation. But just before we go, I just want to kind of take it by turn by each guest. Firstly, just want to thank you guys for being here and joining me. This has been a fun stream and a lot to discuss. So yeah, I just want to give you guys a chance to plug your channel. So Cinematic, we'll start with you. Can you tell a little bit about what your channel's about and what you've got coming out this coming week?
Yep. I'm looking for a picture that we were talking about. Hopefully I'll find it. I'm doing these little reaction videos. As soon as I watch a movie in the theater, I like to record myself just for general thoughts. Not so much of a review, but I try to keep it. Ideal will be like 90 seconds or so, but sometimes it's like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. But yeah, just like a general reaction of the movie, general thoughts. So I'm doing that. I'm doing hopefully Memory is gonna be the next one.
Okay.
When I get to see it, Memory will be one of them. I know Firestarter comes out on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
So probably I'll watch that one. Unboxing videos, I got some more coming up. All depends on the money because I have to pay for all that stuff. But I have a couple of unboxing videos coming up, and also I'm doing this. I'm taking my time, but I'm doing. If you guys like Alfred Hitchcock or classic TV,
Ooh, cool.
I'm doing a series of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, which is available on Peacock. All the episodes.
Nice.
Okay.
So there's a lot of material, and Mike, since you already asked me, I was thinking maybe do a collab with you about one of those episodes. Do you have Peacock available in the UK?
We don't have that service, but I can have a look to see if I can watch like somehow or like a streaming like alternative we have.
So you don't have Peacock, but you have, right? You don't.
No, we don't have that over here.
Okay. Well, maybe there's a way to. I mean, we can talk later on about that. So.
Yeah, by all means.
Yeah, and I'm also on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram. I don't know why. I should be a little less. I'm very active on Instagram. You can find me at Cinematic Tendency.
Awesome. Yeah. So for anyone who hasn't seen Cinematic Tendency's channel, I love those like just seeing the movie reaction it's still in the theater videos. They're just a very quick reaction video, give you just literally raw thoughts. And I also like the unboxing videos, as you can see in his background. He's got all those statues. He's got plenty more to come. So the link for Cinematic's channel is in the description box below. Tyler, we're going to go over to you. So I know you have your own program and segment on your channel called The Rendered Image, where you get together with a couple of friends and you talk about kind of like hot news, recent movies you guys have seen. So yeah, what have you got coming this week?
So I have I just started a new job, so there was kind of that whole transition and everything like that. But I'm going. Thank you. But I got a lot of catching up to do. I have to see The Northman still. What's the Everything Everywhere All at Once? Is that the title?
Yeah.
So like those two are coming this week. I got to see those before they leave the theater. So those are coming up, and then we do a weekly show called The Rendered Image. My buddies Shannon and Christian, and we just kind of whatever movie news is happening that week, we kind of talk about it. Obviously, this week we had off because Mother's Day weekend. I told them that they can spend their time with their families. They don't need to record something with me. I love those guys. They come every week and do it with me. It's pretty great. I'm pretty lucky to have them. What else? Free comic book movie, or sorry, not comic book movie. Free comic book day was yesterday. And so I got a stack of comics. So I'll probably do a video talking about all the stuff I got. And that's coming up.
Awesome. And we'll also just very, very quickly just thank you to Jamie Lee for tuning in and loved even all of us talking about Doctor Strange. She also said Cinema actually is going to go subs to your channel as well. So awesome.
Thank you.
So for anyone who's unfamiliar with Tyler, he has an absolutely fantastic channel. Definitely a very underrated YouTuber in my opinion, and definitely deserves a lot more love and attention to his channel. The Rendered Image is just a fun, laid-back chat. You can watch it or you can listen to it while you're driving in the car or a long journey, whatever you want to do. Definitely go check him out. And I'm excited to hear your thoughts on The Northman and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Two movies that I really enjoyed, so I'm excited to hear your opinion. And I've got a love-hate relationship with A24, so I actually really enjoyed Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It's gonna be interesting.
Cinematic, what are you going to say something?
I found the picture. We were talking about how Marvel is kind of pushing for rated R, kind of, and I found this picture and I posted it on my Instagram because, like I said, I'm very active there. It says the Batman is on one side and the Multiverse of Madness is the other one. And then it says pushing to the limits or something, PG-13.
Nice.
Well, it's getting there. It's definitely, if this out's anything to take by, it's getting there. And Darnell, what about you, man? So I know you cover like a lot of movie reviews. You see movies about 14 weeks before they're generally released. But what have you got coming up this week?
Oh man, I just I actually told myself I feel like I'm actually having a day off, a week off, getting back to a normal schedule after Doctor Strange, because going back to one movie review a week. I'm gonna see that Firestarter on Thursday. That looks good. When the first time I saw a trailer, I was like, "Oh, I never seen the original." So it's one of it's kind of a people say it's good and bad thing, but I feel like it's good because then I can just watch it. It don't gotta constantly be one of those snobby assholes that's like, "Well, the original did it better. The original did it like this." I could just watch it and grade it as a movie itself. So got that going on. And before the stream started, I was actually watching Top Gun because I'd never seen it ever. And I was watching it because it's on Netflix. So I was just like, "Oh, okay, Top Gun," because I think Maverick comes out next weekend. So at least want to go into, if I watch that, at least want to know like these characters, not just be like, I feel like I should know them and I should be attached, but I can't because I didn't see the first one.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. So, well, all of our guests have got awesome content. Darnell, for anyone who's aware, literally gets like the screener again like 14 weeks early. So he always has early reviews basically on his channel.
Yes.
Doctor Strange one took off and just did like 15,000 or even more.
Oh, for real? That's so cool.
Yeah.
He's done like.
That's awesome. I love it. I experience the movies through you before I see them. It's great. I watch your reviews. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's good. You give me so much more hype. You give me so much more hype for the movies, man.
I try not to lie to nobody because the last thing I want is people to waste their money. That's why I try to be as just like as unbiased as possible. I think like if it's a good movie, it's a good movie. But in the day, don't run to me like I hated the movie. And I'll just be like, well, I was just giving you my opinion, but I can't like the movie for you. I could just let you know what's in it, what's the plot, what's the action, how it is. If that sounds good to you, then go watch it. If it sounds like shit, then don't watch it, and you'll be fine.
Right. No, I agree. I absolutely agree. So yeah, for anyone who's interested, if you go down in the description box down below, the link for Tyler's channel, the link for Cinematic Tendency, and the link for Darnell and Rejected Heroes Media is all down there. So go subscribe and go give those guys some love. And yeah, that is pretty much ending the stream. Thank you for everyone tuning in, and we'll see you all later.